Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the first edition of the Bobcast, brought to you by theelbowdrop.com, where we drop the elbow on all things sports and entertainment. Our purpose here is to talk about all things comic books and comic book-related media. I am the bad boy, Robbie Fitz, and with me, as always, is Bob.
Hello there, Internet.
Bob, how are you today?
I'm doing good. Good intro. Good intro on our first podcast. Very nice.
Thank you. I try my best to be professional, because we are all about professionalism
You don't
here.
try. You do.
Thank you. We're going to dive right into it. We're going to start talking about Suicide Squad.
Good one. Good one. All right.
We have the movie announced. We have the Joker announced, which some people are excited about. I'm not really.
I'm happy to see another rendition of him.
Now, how do you feel about the concept of having the Joker in a Suicide Squad movie, even though the Joker, he doesn't fit the bill for the Suicide Squad?
Yeah, it's very, very weird. In my history of reading comics, watching comics, all that good stuff, I don't have any recollection of Joker being a member, let alone aiding him or helping him. But, considering Harley Quinn has been mentioned as a cast member for the Suicide Squad, which she is a very full-fledged member, of course Joker has to be in there somehow. So this being the case, maybe it'll tie into the Justice League movie, which gives a purpose for him to meet Batman at some point.
Okay, that's a relevant idea. The fact that Amanda Waller being in charge of the whole Suicide Squad, she has a lady hard-on for Batman to begin with.
That she does, yeah.
So the idea of her bringing on the Joker in some way to get at the Cape Crusader, that's a pretty cool idea.
Oh, absolutely. I completely go. But speaking of Amanda Waller, terrible casting. Not happy.
Not happy at all, are you?
Not happy one bit, not in the least bit.
Well, I'll be honest with you. I think the only time anybody was really happy was the cartoon series because the depiction physically was perfect and the voice was really good too.
That's exactly where I was aiming at. The physical premise of the casting is just like, why? Why? They went New 52 with the real-life rendition of Waller, and I feel they really lost the charm of the character.
That's a fail. Also, I agree with you there, but I also think that they did the same exact thing with the Arrow series. They have a skinny little girl playing who's supposed to be a large woman.
No, exactly. I feel kind of it's wrong. It's not right. I don't see why we couldn't just keep the original, more comic book. Like, that's the easiest thing to match. Why couldn't just the physical image of somebody? Why couldn't you just keep the larger Waller? I don't see why.
Yeah, the larger Waller is perfect. That like sassy black woman, but with a pantsuit kind of thing. She was threatening.
That's exactly it. It's like Kingpin, like just the size offered that maturity, that threatening. What's the word I'm looking for?
She was intimidating.
There we go, intimidating. There we go.
She walked in, she stood in front of you. She would stand up to anybody, look you right in the face and say, "I'm Amanda Waller.
Exactly.
This is who I am."
Suicide Squad or Black Gate Prison, she would walk into any housing of criminals or mentally ill and just be like, "Look, I'm Amanda Waller. You're going to do this mission for me. You can go free or I'll kill you. Your choice." Like, that's who she is, but this skinny, dainty little beat you with the soft parts of my wrist because you're a big terrifying monster. No, I'm just not feeling it. I feel like that's going to take away from the movie.
Yeah, that doesn't quite work for me either.
Yeah, not happy.
That's just you have in DC Comics you have arguably some of the strongest characters ever.
Absolutely.
And you have a human being who just is absolutely fearless in this universe, in this realm.
That's exactly it. She's just a human who goes face to face with these superhumans, metahumans, human hybrids, monsters, serial killers, psychopaths. She's just human, but there was something special about her, and I felt the physical characteristic of her carried over into that overall personality of her.
Okay, and also, I don't know how you feel about it, but I will say I'm actually kind of excited to see how Will Smith will portray Deadshot.
Yeah, I'm surprised they actually went forward with choosing the Deadshot character. He has been getting a lot of attention ever since the Batman Arkham Origins.
Absolutely.
Made his appearance, as well as Arkham City. Both great, fun games. So I figure you resurrect a second-rate character, try to push him into the fast lane. I definitely look forward to seeing it, but in the matter of just how bad it's going to be. It's kind of weird seeing Will Smith in such a role.
It is very unusual because Will Smith is he is a type A in pretty much everything he plays. He's in your face, and Deadshot was arrogant. He knew how good he was.
Yeah, exactly.
But I don't know exactly. That's why I'm excited to see it. I'm going to give him a chance because I'll tell you, I bring this up all the time, and this is a moment when I will admit I was wrong to the umpteenth degree.
I think where you're going with this.
I cursed to the heavens and the pits of hell when they casted Heath Ledger to play the Joker.
Mm-hmm.
So I will admit I was very wrong. And that's why ever since that moment, I will never just bash somebody for the sake of bashing them. I'll give them a chance. I mean, Deadshot is, I don't know exactly how they're going to do it, but Deadshot, for the most part, is covered. So you don't even have to see Will Smith, really.
Well, we don't know that. For all we know, because you have such a large name actor performing this second-rate comic book villain, if you even want to call him that, you're going to have to see his face. You have to. They're going to show his face every chance they get. This is Will Smith. This is the biggest name. This is Mr. Summer Blockbuster. He invented it, for crying out loud. They're going to have to show him. So you might see his face with the little stupid laser eye beam over his one eye. That's it. And his little rinky-dinky wrist blasters, if they even bring that in.
They should. The wrist blasters
They have
really
to.
cool.
At least give us that much.
With Arrow, they do the same thing. A gentleman does not have the full mask on, just wearing the eye patch, laser eye patch. But I'll give him a chance.
Me too. I'm gonna give Will Smith a chance. I'm gonna go in there with no expectations at all for the overall movie. I'm going in. Speaking of casting, we brought him up just very briefly in our intro, but I think it's only fair we talk about him. Joker,
the Joker,
Prince of Crime. We have to.
This is a role that every human being should be terrified to accept.
At this point, yeah.
Even before Heath Ledger, this is a role that everybody knows, everybody loves the Joker.
Oh, yeah.
And most people agree that certain people did it very well. I mean, Mark Hamill in the cartoons, Heath Ledger in The Dark Knight. I think Cesar Romero was not a fitting Joker.
It was the 60s. They were all just giggling. I couldn't take it. That's why I didn't like Two-Face or Riddler in Val Kilmer's Batman, because all they did was just try to out-giggle the other, and that's why I couldn't stand either of them.
Well, that movie was overall ridiculous. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, in that movie they even add the banana peel slipping sound effect during some of the fight scenes.
They do.
That was a ridiculous movie to begin with.
But anyway, yes, but
so we have a new gentleman giving it a shot, and elephant balls to accept the role.
Oh, exactly. Grapefruits.
Yeah, so that's. I'm gonna give him a chance. I
want to give him a chance because I'm probably gonna cause a lot of hate on not only the Bobcast but the Elbow Drop in general. But I didn't like the Heath Ledger interpretation of the Joker. I'm probably one of people who did not like him. So I'm not watching this as of like, oh, there's such deep shoes to fill. What's going to happen? Oh no! Like, is he gonna desecrate the Joker name because it belonged? Which drives me nuts. I hate the fact that Joker is now always associated with Heath Ledger. It drives me nuts. Oh, this is the man who died to portray the character. No, it wasn't. No, he wasn't.
Well, I'm gonna give you the floor for this one because I actually have never heard your argument as to why you didn't like Heath Ledger, because I was a huge fan. I loved The Dark Knight. I cried like a baby after I saw it, and now I was actually unaware that you didn't like him. So I'm gonna give you the floor to talk about this for a minute.
As vocal as I am with many issues, I never really get to talk about this, so I'll try to keep it short and sweet. So. Pretty much, I went into The Dark Knight excited because I loved Batman Begins. I heard Nolan was in charge of a Batman trilogy, and I'm like, oh, this is a dream come true. This is the man who's made so many great films. Now he's in charge of one of the most complex, dark characters in comic book history, let alone DC. And Batman Begins comes out, fell in love, and now Joker is segued at the end with the card. So I'm like, oh, this is going to be even better. This is awesome. We haven't had a great Joker since Hamill. Let's go. And I just didn't like it. I didn't like it. I loved Two-Face. The overall movie was okay. If anything, the music was my favorite part.
Good music, good soundtrack.
Phenomenal soundtrack. One thing Nolan knows how to do is get people to make his music. But then I see Joker, which his entrance in the hotel was great. Great appearance. But then, yeah, I felt he wasn't the Joker. I felt he was just a crazy meth head psycho covered in clown makeup. Now, I've made that point to people, and they're like, "Oh, but that's just the Joker. He's just a crazy guy covered. He's just a crazy guy, a clown." I'm like, no, then you don't get it. You don't know who the Joker is if you immediately sync him with just being a crazy guy as a clown. No, like, he's the Joker. And I felt Heath Ledger didn't really come anywhere close to capturing who the Joker was. Hamill did with just his voice. Nicholson had his own interpretation. I'm not comparing him, but I didn't like Ledger. I didn't connect with him. He was boring, my opinion. Just his laugh and the every 5 minutes. People get all crazy with that. That drove me nuts. I couldn't stand every time he slapped his lips. You want to know how I got these scars? I loved how there was no true origin to him. I did like that part, but outside of that, I didn't think much of him. I didn't really like Heath Ledger because he didn't feel like Joker to me.
Okay, well, I think we're going to certainly have to put this conversation on the side burner, and we will come back to this at another day. In fact, we might even write a comprehensive article about this and the different Jokers, because I'm very interested in this topic. But moving along, in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles number 44.
Oh, in the comic book world, back to the paper.
Yes, I do apologize. We're going to jump around a little bit here. That's how we do it on the Bobcast. And so Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, issue 44. Just came out last week.
Oh, yes.
And we have what isn't 100% confirmed, but what is most likely confirmed as the loss. Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert, please.
Don't listen for the next 5 seconds if you're afraid.
5 seconds of silence.
We lose Donatello. He lost his life to Bebop
and Rocksteady.
Rocksteady. Those two goons, those bumbling buffoons, managed to do something epic.
I think just made those two characters, if anything, that much more greater. Because they were always silly. I always laughed at them, but now they took down Donatello.
They killed him.
In my opinion, of like the 4, he's like number 3 in Prestige. Like Mikey's Mikey. But Donatello, he's the nerd. He's the geek. I loved him. He was one of my favorites.
My personal opinion, he had the best weapon. I'm sure.
Oh, the staff was the greatest thing. In the video game, you had the range. You were set for life. Oh, that was it. Always Donatello.
How could anybody forget that video game? I still play that video game to this day. So the significance of this is that it's certain, even though the newer comics they're darker, no doubt about that.
Yeah, they are returning to the origins of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
But if you look at the images, these are very graphic images, even though they don't really directly show you the murder. Well, it was a fight. It wasn't just a murder when they didn't sneak in.
He went down swinging.
But even after, you see Rocksteady and Bebop talking about it, and they're looking at him, and they're like, "Oh, I didn't think it looked like that." I'm like, well, what'd you expect? So, I mean, it is a graphic scene.
It is. And
then seeing Splinter hold him, my poor boy, I believe he says something along those lines. It pretty much confirms that he is dead, because he was laying there, and then all the turtles were back there around his body, which means they didn't move him, which means he wasn't getting any medical attention.
Yeah, he was just probably dead on sight, and that was it.
So I feel that if they tried to say, like, turn that around, like, oh no, he was fine all along, I think that would just piss everybody off.
No, he fell into a coma, and he's gonna wake up 2 storylines from now.
Yeah, no, he's a turtle. Turtles don't go into comas; they die. You flush them down the toilet. We move on.
And then it gets clogged, and your dad yells a lot.
Yeah.
But outside of that, I mean, I think this is pretty cool. What if we had, what if they try putting him back in the ooze? What if they have some ooze left over and they put his corpse into it, and maybe we have a new villain?
Now
that's the first thing that came to mind upon his death. Because I thought of Jason Todd. When he was put in the Lazarus pit, we got Red Hood.
Yeah.
Kind of a reference to it. What if we got Donatello's corpse? And they were just so broken and destroyed. Maybe Raph, because he's like the most... fuck you, I don't care, I do my own thing. Maybe he's so destroyed by his brother's death. He goes against all the turtles' wishes and puts him in the ooze, and we get back this pet cemetery like Donatello.
And I will say, in the image, when they show all the turtles and Splinter and the robot all around Donatello's body, you see that Raphael is clearly drawn to be angry. He is furious.
Exactly, he's full of rage.
He's not upset, he's angry.
Of course.
So we're going to have that should turn out to be very interesting. Now, for the grand finale of this podcast, we saved the topic that's haunting us and bothering us to our very souls right now.
Oh, of course.
We have the cover of Batgirl, which was a great reference to the Killing Joke.
Possibly one of the greatest Batman stories of all time, and for whatever reason, The butthurt of butthurt came out of everybody, and they did not publish this phenomenal cover.
I agree with you 100%. This cover was gorgeous. If I could find it, I'm gonna get it. I'll buy the original artwork to this.
Same. I loved it.
Gorgeous. For those who don't know, it is the Joker, where basically you see him clearly in control of Batgirl, but nothing overly graphic. He's smearing like a blood smile on Batgirl's face.
Who happens to be crying, like she looks like she's in dire fear for her life almost, just petrified. And there she is, probably shaking, terrified, crying a little. You see a tear going down her eye. And there he is, all smiles and giggles, typical Joker, dressed in his Hawaiian Killing Joke shirt, smearing the blood smile. We can only assume it's blood, it's Joker.
Yeah,
but smearing a red smile across her lips. I loved it. Reason why, in case anybody wants to know why this cover is so what's the word I'm looking for? Big, in reference to the Killing Joke. That's where Barbara Gordon, Batgirl, was crippled and became Oracle. Joker went into her apartment, gunned her down, and shattered her spine, and then she became Oracle. So this was a great reference to such a great story, but people's feelings are apparently softer than the shell of Donatello. Whoops, too soon.
Ho,
and
mark that one down.
Yep, thank you. Write it down, please. And they didn't publish it. How do you feel? Do you think it was necessary? Do you feel it was controversial?
See, I feel that this is one of those times where people let money control decisions. I feel that DC kind of said, you know what? We're going to upset a lot of people. If we put a different cover on, we're not going to... they wouldn't upset anybody had the first cover never been released. I already saw it. You can't take that away. I love it.
Exactly. We know what could have been.
But the risk of offending is so huge right now that if you offend, especially, I'm going to assume that women's rights groups are the most offended.
Oh yeah, the feminazis definitely showed up.
Exactly.
Just want to get out there. Everybody in this group, and I mean literally everybody, is feminist in regards to women, men should have equal rights. So don't think we're playing like Macho Man here. Not at all. We're very equal.
We love women, and we accept that they do just about everything better than us.
Oh, absolutely. So. They can make babies, problem solved. But outside of that, I just going back to the cover. I don't see why it was such a problem. Like, the Killing Joke came out. Unless you know about the story, you'd be like, okay, it's Joker. He's holding down Batgirl and smearing blood across her face. So what? He's done worse. There's been worse covers. Oh,
absolutely. There's been a lot worse. But I think people are upset because this is a woman who's supposed to be the hero. It's showing her having absolutely no control, and we all know how disturbing it is to have no control over your fate, which is what the Joker did to her.
Which literally he changed her faith,
and that it's huge. It really is. It was a huge moment in her life, and it's a great concept to make that artwork, to reference back to that, because even though we don't have to really address what happened, if you see that cover. They don't really have to dive too much into it because that cover pretty much explains it all, and it's gorgeous. It explains everything in one beautiful picture where she had no control over what was about to happen to her, and she was, I'm going to use the word insane, but I don't like to refer to the Joker as insane, but she had no control, and somebody who was completely insane had her.
Exactly. There were so many levels upon that. There was a reference, the struggle and balance between sane and not sane. Mm-hmm. I felt it was a great cover, and now we're not going to have it. If I was DC, the smart thing to do is probably re-release it as maybe order only. Probably, if you wanted it this way, it's not on shelves. It's not going to catch anybody's attention.
Or you could do something like they did with like the Death of Superman. It came in that special black
the little
case.
plastic thing. Yeah. Who would want to open it then?
Exactly. Yeah, who would want to open it?
I have all of those plastic bags. I mean, they're absolutely worthless, but just for the sheer sake of having them, I don't want to open them. I buy figures and keep them in the box. That's my thing.
Very true. I understand that, but I think that would probably be, maybe the order only would be the best way to do it, because DC, if you do that, you got two customers right here.
I'll pay your outlandish prices, $5 a comic these days. You got to be kidding me.
Well, for that, it would probably upwards. If they were going to order only, I'm going to assume they would jump it up to maybe 20, especially because it was so controversial.
So bad, oh no.
My goodness, what will we do?
It made Batman question justice. That's how bad it was. But I think they should still publish it. I don't think it was right. I think it was wrong. They should have made it a limited edition one to where it was so limited and unique to where if you didn't get it quick, it doesn't exist. Because you can still use the power of the internet to find it.
That's fair. That I guess that would take a smarter business mind than us to figure out exactly what to do.
Yeah.
But once again, DC, if you are listening, we beg you to make that available to us because we want it, and it would make us all very, very happy.
Please and thank you.
So thank you for listening to our first edition of the Bobcast, brought to you by theelbowdrop.com, where we drop the elbow on all things sports and entertainment. Sounding off is the bad boy Robbie Fitz and
Bob.
Have a good night, everyone.
Ciao, gentlemen.